Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today we kick things off with a big raider welcome to our latest recruit, Ioannis Katronikis, which I probably mispronounced, but the important thing is that he is, of course, our brand new gladiator. The second of the two we looked at, if mainly by virtue of the gear. I mean, at least this way, even if Katronikis doesn't work out, we still get that sweet armor. And yeah, I know his name is Greek, but you know, hoplites, gladiators, I figure they're at least in the same general ballpark. That said, as far as Katronikis himself goes, not bad. You know, he's got the survivor trait. I'm certainly not going to complain about that. Though I will say, given that his nickname was the Brutalizer, I was kind of really expecting the Executioner trait, or possibly Strong. Seems a bit weird we got Survivor instead. Beyond that, also not complaining about the 2 stars in Melee. Though, I do kind of wish he had some better star placement in other stats. You know, Melee defense would have been nice. Though the 3 stars in Health does at least potentially open the door for skipping Colossus, not something I would normally do for a frontliner. But in theory, just 2 or 3 maxed out advances would put him within spitting range of most of our other frontliners. Though I suppose we could also just double down and end up with 100 plus hit points. Might not be a bad idea if we decide to go like Nimble Forged, which I will say I am kind of tempted to do. I do really like the look of that gladiator gear, and I'd kind of like to keep him in it. Beyond that, his starting stats were above average, but not phenomenal. He is struggling a bit to support the weight of that armor, hence my sort of knee-jerk leaning towards medium Nimble Forged. I do think he's got potential, even if he could have rolled better. So let's go ahead and give him an extra trait to play with, though we will save the more potent potions for someone else. Let's see what we get. Oh, okay. Sure footing. +5 melee defense. You know what? I was kind of hoping for something like Iron Lungs or Quick or Strong, but sure, yeah, I'll take that. That actually pushes him up to 25 melee defense once the sickness wears off. I might lose the pike and just toss him straight into combat, once he's recovered, of course. And then, aside from that, we've also got Sig and Mal, who, as you can see, we've got kitted with their new weapons of choice. Though, I am still uncertain on where we're going with their armor. Mal is more likely to go Battle Forged, but I think Sig, you know, he's really struggling with his armor, even though it's lighter than our average armor. So he may go Nimble instead, but I'd like to get another couple of levels under their belt before we lock that in. For now, we will at least take their appropriate mastery perks. Swords for Seymore and cleavers for Mal. But then we'll hold the other 2 until we get a better idea of where their fatigue is ending up. Plus, Mal still got a pretty major character development event in the wings. I do feel good about giving him Ominous Madness either way, though, since, in theory, once he has that Orc Potion, it actually weighs the exact same as a military cleaver. It really just comes down to whether or not I want to lock it onto him in particular, or hold out for someone else. Which I do think will be influenced by exactly how much he gets from his particular ultimate event. But, you know, as always, those are just the thoughts that are currently percolating in my head. So I am curious to hear what other folks might think. And with that out of the way, let's get back to it. Starting, I think, with the arena. The arena master approaches as you enter, holding up a scroll which he taps with his hook. A blade dancer of the Nomad Tribes is on the docket. I might look a bit foppish, but to get the title of Blade Dancer, you must be as articulate with the blade as a bird is with the wind. Dancing expertise is optional, but they're all pretty good at that, too. He pauses. We expect important guests for this bout. So everything is set up for you to die proper bloody this time, got it? And if you can't do that, then have your lot dispatch their opponents in the most spectacular way to please the crowd. Do that, and I'll hand you a proper piece of gladiator gear on top of the coin. Oh man, our first blade dancer. Don't really have a lot of experience with those, but I want to say they're basically just the southern equivalent of swordmasters. And I would very much like another piece of gladiator gear. Yeah, let's go for it. There's like 3 different designs on the gladiator helmet, so if we could get one of each, that would be pretty fantastic. Alright, so Blade Dancer and 2 Nomads. I want to say if a Blade Dancer is like a Swordmaster, their biggest vulnerability is range attacks. In which case, we either want Arrow or one of the throwers. But I'm thinking Arrow, since Swordmasters also tend to be pretty slippery. And a thrower would have to get up close to actually hit, which would put them within potential striking range. Then aside from that, Rax for heavy hitting, Verlin for defense. Let's see how this goes. The arena is shaped like the pit of some sore, its ceiling torn away by the gods, revealing the vanity, bloodlust, and savagery of man. And it is man there, yelling and screaming. And if the blood sprays hit them, they wash their faces in the gore, and grin at one another as though it were a joke. They fight one another for trophies, and relish in the pain of others. And it is before these people that the RetconRaiders will fight. And for them they shall entertain. And entertain well. To those who are about to die, etc., etc. Oh, goodness, that is a sword lance. Yes, definitely feeling better about not bringing Val or Tommy in on this one. Though, jury's still out on Arrow. Really comes down to whether or not he can land hits. Let's regroup 1 space back. That'll give us 2 rounds to lay down fire before they actually engage. The raiders swiftly fell into a tight-knit formation as they warily watched their foes approach. The nomads were nothing special. Run-of-the-mill desert bandits. The sword dancer, though, seemed to be something else entirely, clad in almost elegant black silk, sword lance swirling effortlessly in his hands. Arrow laid down fire, but the Blade Dancer sprinted through it with alarming ease. Only halted by Verlin's sturdy shield. A jab of the anatomous spear tore through black silk, but otherwise left the Blade Dancer unharmed. Bowman ducked a cracking whip, firing off a snapshot before juking to one side. The Blade Dancer followed his movements with his eyes, skipping backward smoothly, leaving the shieldman to tie the other raiders down. Snarling with annoyance, Rax splintered the flailer's shield with a single hefty blow. Verlin lunging in right after with his spear, then deftly ducking a broad swipe from the Blade Dancer. Then coming back up with a mighty underhanded swing. Rax splayed the former shieldman open from crotch to collar. Even as Bowman continued laying down fire, an arrow drawing a nasty gash across the Blade Dancer's calf. And Rax made an unexpected lunge. But his axe bit nothing but air, burying into the sand as the Blade Dancer vaulted over the cumbersome weapon. Bowman warily circled, conscious of the Blade Dancer's reach, and distracted, trying to track the archer's movements. The Blade Dancer overextended. Another swing from Rax, biting deep, nearly cleaving his arm at the elbow. The Blade Dancer swayed back, a hiss of breath escaping between clenched teeth. Sword lance glancing off Rax's armor. Rax gamely pursued, but as he did, a lash of the Nomad's whip, his axe tumbling to the sand. Bowman fired from the side, the Blade Dancer gurgling as an arrow sunk deep. And unarmed, but far from harmless, Rax growled like a feral beast as he simply started pummeling the hapless Blade Dancer with his fists, leaving him broken and bloody before the crowd. Then, scooping up his axe, his ire turned toward the Nomad who had so briefly disarmed him. One last swing. A half-formed plea for mercy dying on the bandit's bloodied lips. His death rattle drowned out amidst the enthusiastic roar of the crowd. My goodness, Rax, buddy. That guy scares me sometimes. Also, gladiator harness. Not what I was hoping for, but we'll take it. Are you gladiators? You look to see a boy standing there with awe on his face. He almost cries, he's so giddy. You're amazing. Tussling the boy's hair, you tell him thanks, and make your leave. What, we don't, toss him a bloody jersey? Where's our Mean Joe Green moment? Alright, well, that was certainly an experience. Let's go ahead and get our gear re-equipped. Doggo for Ver. Toothy necklace for Rax. And we've also got this. Gladiator harness. 100 durability, fatigue 8. Decent nimble armor, I suppose, but nothing all that special. Especially since the shoulder pad is actually an attachment, as opposed to just having two separate types of gladiator armor. You know, one padded, one metal. They'd be a whole lot more competitive if they were just normal armor, which you could then attach another attachment to. But it is what it is. Still happy to have it. Let's grab that Nomad contract. Oh, delivery. Okay, well that's not what we're looking for. Though, we will put a pin in that, because that might be a good one for once we're ready to leave. I think Erlak is actually our next planned stop. It is indeed. That's our next stop once we go to get stuck back into the current noble crisis. So that'll actually work out just fine. Which means our Nomad contract must be the other one, the one skull. We want to get that one cleared so we can load up on trade goods. You find Hakan al-Zahir of Hikmah feeding a bird in a cage. Sensing your presence, he speaks without turning. You are scaring my bird, Crownling, so I will make this brief for her sake. There are nomads roaming the peripheral of my lands, and I need them destroyed. I'm sure a man of your station would be willing to undertake such a simple, easy task. Yeah, attitude aside, I can certainly do that. Though I will also say 1,000 gold payout on a one-skull contract immediately makes me suspicious. Dead Oasis Camp. Oh, for goodness sake, you're not even trying to hide it, are you? Yeah, you know, there are other twists. Nomad leaders, assassins, bounty hunters. But for whatever reason, we just keep rolling that dang necromancer. Guy just won't leave us alone. But fine. We'll go kill some zombies. I mean, we still want those trade goods, so you do what you gotta. Oh. Okay, well, hold on. If it was a necromancer, they would not be telling us it's outlaws and archers. It would be enemy unknown. Huh. So, maybe we are actually in for a different twist. Or just no twist at all? 1,000 gold feels pretty hefty for a one skull, but then again, we are over 100 days into the campaign at this point, so maybe it's proportionately scaled by the overall escalating risk factor. Which I guess would be fair. I mean, nomads do have dodge now. Yeah, alright. I mean, we'll treat it like a normal nomad fight then. Might have an assassin, might have a leader. Might result in being ambushed by mercenaries. But at least it's not undead. The raiders approached the dead oasis with utmost caution, knowing exactly how things normally went in these deserts of the damned. Upon arrival, however, they were almost thrilled to see actual living men milling about the camp, to the point where a few of them let out exuberant cries of relief, promptly alerting the nomads to their presence, of course, but that was fine. It's not like they planned on leaving any of them alive. Also, ow. The nomads rushed forth, meeting the raiders head-on, Diego stepping up to meet a swordsman on north. Rook moving up on center, swiftly finding himself faced with an axe-wielding warrior. Seymore stepped in, hefting the unfamiliar weight of his greatsword. His swing went low, but still bit deep into the warrior's ankle, leaving him half defeated. Random sensed an approaching foe, leaving him battered and senseless. Verlin rushing in right after, locking him down. The rest of the raiders filtered forward, including the newbie, Katronicus, who is still getting used to his own newly assigned weapon as well. A toss from Tommy went slightly wide, a nomad claimed by the random acts of violence. Drak swept in, slashing at the swordsman on north, and Arrow took aim. His first shot sinking deep into an enemy archer's chest. The second shot, unfortunately, going wide. Yeah, these guys all have dodge, so it does make them slightly tougher targets. The battle raged on, the nomads putting up a surprisingly decent fight, even if they were being bled out with each passing moment. It was a war of attrition they could not hope to win. But perhaps they'd at least do some damage. Leave their mark, as it were. Diego speared the swordsman. Seymore hacking down another as well. Random crushed a third on the south, sensing victory. Arrow surveyed the battlefield. A swift shot, an archfoe felled. A second arrow glancing off a shieldman's shoulder as well. Rax hacks a bludgeoner out of the way, then pushes up towards the nomads beyond. Verlin flanking on the south as well, framing the nomads' formation. Katronicus moves in. Pike at the ready. The condition Tommy inflicted on a Pullman is hard to hear. Drak broke the last shieldman. Bowman advanced. Angling for a clear shot. Rook pierces the Pullman's shoulder, bearing him to the ground. His target pinned, Sigmar readies his sword. But the Pullman somehow evades. The unfortunate archer beyond, not quite so lucky. An error quickly amended by a slash of Mal's blade. Come on, he chuckled back towards his unlikely associate. At least try to keep up. And the rest of the raiders swept the field. Ioannis planting his pike. The nomad stumbled back, grasping at his bloodied face, half blinded with pain. Right into the swinging censer of Random's unwieldy weapon. The one remaining archer swiftly found himself surrounded. Ducking and weaving, trying to find some desperate means of escape. But alas, even being unhanded by Rax did not mean he was free. If anything, it simply hastened his end. One soon delivered by yet another random blow. Yeah, those guys almost put up a decent fight for a round or two. That dodge really does make a difference. It really does put them one step above your average northern brigands. Well, that and the pocket sand. No immediate follow-up event, so I think we're in the clear. Let's give Sig some time to recover. Yeah, really got to figure out his armor situation. I mean, logically, I should probably just go nimble. Actually, maybe he'd be a good fit for that gladiator harness we just pulled. That plus like a 7 fatigue helmet. And you know what? We're already out here. Might as well knock this place out too. Oh. Once wounded by maladies and disfigurements, King's Rook the Anatomist is starting to look a lot better now. That is to say, he has come to realize that there is little he can do about his physical appearance, which is, to be terse, still something that takes courage and willpower to just look at. Harsh. But the man has just remembered the true reason he sought the concoctions and strange mixtures and tinctures, which have turned him into a walking and talking monstrosity. And that reason is a matter of scientific endeavor. The anatomist is now a happier man, and as long as he can be kept far away from even the smallest of mirrors, you imagine that can more or less remain the case. I mean, hey, this kind of work will make monsters of us all, eventually. Some, perhaps more literally than others. Rax over there just punched a dancer to death, like, a day ago, so, you know, it's all relative. Also, with 25 defense, Ioannis really doesn't need the pike. We might as well just toss him something a bit more conventional. Let's say a flail. We could use a new flailer since we lost Annie. And as for this, at a glance I'd say undead, but we're seeing some pretty clearly human footprints, so I think we've got more nomads. Yeah, because normally even Wiederganger would leave skeletal footprints, I think. And even if not, I think this crew could handle a few walking dead. Hey, look at that. Oh, and bonus, we've got Sahir the Nomad King. As the raiders made their way back towards Hikma, they took a brief detour, remembering another nomad camp they had seen in passing some time ago. And sure enough, the hapless hooligans, confident that the raiders would not return, had simply stayed put. Kind of a shame we didn't bring any stabbers in with us. I wasn't expecting to run into a named. But that's fine. I think that's just what? Southern Plate? That's like mid-tier at best. Wouldn't mind grabbing that Shamshir, though. Don't think we've got any of those. The nomads rushed forward, their weapons at the ready, their king safely ensconced behind 2 ranks of rabble. The raiders met them head-on. An axe shearing the ear of a sandy swordsman, a second one burying in his face. His body toppled, stiff like a board. Drakiith moved in, slashing another's scalp. A pair of arrows thunked into the nomad's chest a split second later. And then came Rax. A fleeting moment of fear ended in a split second. Alois pushed up. A scattershot blast, flensing the face of an unfortunate felon. Could have planned that out slightly better. No big. I'm sure we're fine. Ah! Pocket sand! Drak continued working his way forward, even as the rest of the nomads all focused their fire on the massively armored Rax. Valin ducked in, a desert bandit disarmed. Diego came in from the flank, unhanding another. Rook slaughtered the one-armed bandit. Then softened up Sahir as well. Headshot, nice. Arrow impaired another bandit with a joint effort. Random cracked a whippersnapper's skull. And Berlin swung in from the side, brutally shoving Sahir, the Nomad King, right towards Rex and ruin. More brutal acts of violence. Another outlaw out. A faint spike drove into Sahir's chest. A second into his face, helm tumbling to the ground, split asunder. Alois took careful aim. Shrapnel sent Sahir stumbling, armor torn to tatters. A shame, but hardly the end of the world. There was plenty more where that came from. Random deftly sensed another opening. And Rax crowned the would-be king. Even as random happenstance claimed another right beside him. Rassel crushed another nomad skull, and the raiders moved in on the last. Katronicus getting in a good lick, though sadly not the kill. And Val spiked the ball. The less said about that, the better. Honestly, sounds very unpleasant. But suffice to say, the Nomad didn't get back up. Nicely done, Raiders. Another notch on our belts. And yeah, of course, no armor, but we did get some trade goods, and we did get the Shamshir, if just barely. Which does make this worth our while. In fact, the Shamshir might make a good alternate for, Eonis. Though, obviously, we need to fix it up first. And, yeah, let's push our luck. Let's carve a chunk off the fog here. Just kind of do a roundabout return to Hikmah. Ooh. Oh, please tell me it's hyenas. Or serpents. We actually still need those, too. No, that is a freet. That is 24 a freet. And a plethora of ancient legionaries. Well, I don't want any of that. So, I guess I'm just gonna go. You guys have fun with that. Oh well, let's head back to Hikmah. Oh yeah, especially since it looks like the Noble War is now almost over. We'll need to hustle if we want to make sure we get at least one more contract. A servant meets you upon your return to Hikmah, delivering your pay and kindly telling you to get lost. Which you do. Because who really wants to talk to that Hakan guy again anyway? Oh, shoot. Okay, the delivery quest is gone. And the new one is probably about a freight, which I really don't want to deal with, so I guess we're pretty much done here? Trusty Venom, unique Rondel. -1 fatigue buildup. I think the rest of its bonuses were an armor pen, which is kind of comically useless for a dagger, but that -1 fatigue might be worth the cost. Trade goods are still pretty pricey, but we'll probably still load up. I'm gonna have to think on that for a moment. Oh, actually, you know what we can do while I'm thinking? Another round in the arena! The master of the arena grins as he sees you approaching. He holds up a scroll. I believe Northerners refer to him as a hate knight. Might have that wrong. Don't tell the other arena masters I said this about Northern trash, but this knight is one of the most dangerous men I've seen come through here. And if you wish your path to continue being gilded, then I suggest you make sharp preparations and get a good rest before the fight. Ooh, Hedge Knight. Daunting, but I think less so than the Blade Dancer, and we took him down pretty handily. Let's select our team. I think Rax and Verlin again. And then, let's say, Fallon. Slightly harder hitting than arrow, better against armor. We'll put those famed spikes to use. And no more hedging. Let's get this done. To those who are about to die, etc., etc. The raiders once again strode into the arenas of Hikmah. This time facing off against a towering brute, almost as intimidating as Rax. And also two other guys. Who, to their credit, gamely accepted their fates, rushing towards certain doom. The raiders held their ground, waiting for just the right moment to pounce. And as the bandit shieldmen rushed in, Verlin deftly struck, spear shearing a line of links from his already tattered mail. The Hedge Knight circled wide, Val hucking out an axe, tickling a bandit's ribs before falling back. A second toss, this time burying into the bandit's knee, leaving him easy prey for Rax's axe. Verlin glanced to one side and, with some tricky maneuvering, pulled Rax forward. Oh! Wow! His charge abruptly ended on the business end of the Hedge Knight's club. Throat crushed, choking for breath, Verlin stumbled in unaccustomed agony as Rax found himself forestalled on the flailman's shield. A second strike, fracturing the unfortunate anatomist's skull. Oh my goodness, are we about to lose our shieldman? Verlin gasped for breath, just trying to stay steady. The Hedge Knight entangled in a hastily hurled net. His henchman glanced to one side, moving as if to help. A fatal distraction, beheaded for his trouble. And Verlin, oh, thank goodness, quickly fell back. Though the raiders were not out of the woods just yet. A colossal strike, ringing Rax's helm like a bell. Val lunged in, spiking a shot straight through the Hedge Knight's eye slit. The surprisingly fearsome foe reared backwards, howling in agony. A second shot from Val, this time spiking right into the side of the knight's head. He stumbled about, half blind and deaf, Rax finally regaining his wits. And one last swing, the Hedge Knight fell. My goodness. I thought the last fight was brutal. But geez, Verlin. Man, that was about as close as it gets. Just goes to show, be careful about getting too confident. Crits happen, so you've always got to be ready. Oh man, double head wound. That's going to be like 1,000 gold to patch. But we got to do it. I don't think Rassel's ready for prime time just yet. We don't even have shield mastery. But, you know, not like we've got much choice. That said, this does feel like a good place to call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take care of our off-screen bookkeeping, and we will pick up here next time as we try to get stuck back into yonder war. Honestly, might be safer up there. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to RobbyB23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.